Hey folks, I wanted to share with you today this polymeter idea and to do this little video to explain a little bit what's going on with it. So originally I was messing around the Rumba Clave 2-3 that you can hear on the left foot, not obvious to say. And at some point I wondered what could be the result if I added a kick in 3 to it. So the Rumba Clave goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And the kick in 3 is actually a kick that repeats itself every 3/16 notes. So if I go at the same speed, the 16th notes are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the result sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. In the whole polymeter, I will have to play my clave in 4 3 times because my kick is in 3. So we can actually decompose this polymeter in 3 parts, 3 occurrences of the Rumba Clave. And this allowed me to focus and practice the placement of the kick on each of these 3 phrases. And you know, you really want to practice this 2-limb polymeter step by step because it takes a lot of time and repetition for the ear and muscle memories to kick in. So for example, I really focused first on the first occurrence of the Rumba Clave. So it goes like this. That's it. That's the first phrase of the Rumba Clave, and you don't want to go further. The first step actually is to explore the first placement of the kick. So this one is easy, it's on the first 16th notes because it's starting the phrase. That's the second one. Then. And the last one is. And after that, we're going on the second phrase. So it's really this step-by-step process that took me some time, of course. Then I wanted to add something else with my right hand, and I thought a phrase in 5 would actually have a very interesting result over my whole polymeter on the feet. This phrase in 5 goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you play the first one as an accent, the first 16th note. Then the second 16th note is out. Then you play the third and the fourth 16th notes as ghost notes. And then you leave the fifth 16th note. To add this pattern properly to the rest, I first focused on the result of my pattern in 5 added to my clave. It sounds like this. So you see, I have to play my Rumba Clave 5 times because my pattern here is in 5. But this pattern, I have to play it 4 times because my clave is in 4. We should also explore what would the pattern in 5 added to the kick in 3 sound like. You're starting to get it now, aren't you? Because the kick is in 3, we have to play the hand pattern 3 times. And because this hand pattern is in 5, the kick will have to play 5 times. I spent a good amount of time practicing and exploring what was going on in the whole polymeter when I added the hand in 5. And again, here I have landmarks. I don't practice the polymeter starting always from the beginning to the point where I'm struggling. I notice some landmarks. I cut the polymeter in different parts to be sure to practice just the part I'm interested in practicing. For instance, I will have to play the polymeter thing on the feet 5 times because I add my hand in 5. So I will have 5 occurrences of this already practiced polymeter on the feet. And at the beginning of each of these occurrences, the hand here is starting on a different note of its pattern. On the very first occurrence, of course, it will start with the accent, with the first 16th note. And on the other occurrences, we will start with the first ghost note, for example, or the second ghost note, or one of the silences. I will play the whole polymeter with the hand in 5, so you see what it sounds like. And I will add on the video some little landmarks to show where I split the whole polymeter to practice the different occurrences. When I practiced this 2-limb polymeter, I noticed some landmarks that were very important for me to learn the whole thing. And I still refer to these landmarks while playing. On the first phrase of my polymeter, I noticed that the clave comes very often just before the kick. So it goes like this. And then the last stroke they play, it's together, and it sets the tone for the second phrase. On the second phrase, second occurrence, they will play very often together as one. So it sounds like this. So we have this little exception at the beginning of the phrase where the clave again comes before the kick. And then it's always together. And at the end of the phrase, this time the kick comes before the clave, and it sets the tone for the last occurrence, where you'll notice that the kick comes very often just before the clave. And there's an exception just before going back to the 1. There's the clave on the last 16th note, just before the kick sets the 1 again. When you've practiced it many times, it's like a new song that you can hear by heart and sing. So I'm not at the point where I calculate things in my head. I just know the song by heart, and I've practiced it many times. So there's some muscle memory that builds, and I can play it not automatically, but almost, because when you practice a phrase, a combination many times, it almost becomes automatic at some point, because really the muscle memory helps. It's like walking, you just know what you do. The limbs are aware of like when they have to play before the other limb or together or after, you know. It's really memories that eventually kick in and helps us playing this kind of thing. It's like any rhythm actually. It's really a matter of knowing the rhythm and knowing it by heart and knowing how to sing it. So at this point, I still had my left hand remaining, so I wanted to add a snare, like making this phrase in 5 becoming a groove, a real groove in 5. Instead of playing like, adding a real snare and ghost notes like. So I had already built some memory, muscle memory with this phrase. So it was the same process actually. It's like the two hands stick together in some way. So it was easier than if I practice another group of notes on the snare. It was really locked with the pattern in 5 on the right hand. So it was easier. But I still had to practice a little bit, obviously. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some more insights of how we can actually learn this kind of thing. So if you're interested in this kind of rhythm, I wrote a book about that. It's called the Polyrhythm Odyssey and it's available on the links below somewhere. I really wrote it with passion because I'm really quite sure everyone can do this, because it's really not different from learning any new groove. It's figuring out what's happening in the grid of 16th note subdivision, which limb is playing alongside another limb or not. It's really not more complicated than that. And it's passionating because each combination gives birth to a new original rhythm, and it's really inspiring for composition, for drum solos, for rhythm in general. So don't be afraid of it. If you like this kind of new grooves, new ideas, rhythmic ideas, give it a try. If I can do it, you can do it too. See you next time for another crazy but doable rhythm. Bye.